gosh. You are not going to believe what happened. Seriously? Grab a drink, because this is going to take a while. I called him soft, right, for wanting a family. And now he's like a full-time dad, and my kid won't even FaceTime me. Can you even? My name's Jessica. I'm 32. And honestly, I still can't wrap my head around it. So it all started with Mark. Remember Mark? We met at a friend's casual get-together. Not some fancy barbecue or anything. Just a chill night. He was pretty cute, a little quiet, but in that intriguing way. He wasn't like a total pushover at first, which I usually prefer. He worked at some office job. Nothing super exciting. But he seemed stable, and that was important to me. You know, like, I've got my own thing going on at work. My boss, we all have those. I'm busy. I'm focused on my career, and I need someone who gets that. Things moved pretty fast with Mark. We started hanging out a lot, just doing normal stuff. Dinner, movies, chilling at his place. He was always really attentive, asking about my day, making sure I was comfortable. It was nice. For a while, he seemed so happy to just be around me, and that was great. Because honestly, sometimes after a long day at my job, I just needed someone to, cater to me. Then he started talking about the future. And not just, what are we doing this weekend? Future. He was talking about marriage, about kids, about a house with a picket fence. And I remember just sitting there, listening to him, thinking, wow, he really wants all of that, doesn't he? And I just couldn't relate. My career was finally taking off. I was working long hours, traveling sometimes, really putting in the effort to get ahead. Kids, a family. That just sounded like a huge distraction. A drain on my time and my money. I mean, who wants to be tied down when you're finally, finding your stride? I tried to explain it to him. I told him, Mark, I'm just not ready for that right now. My focus is my career. And he would get this look, this sad little puppy dog look, and say, but don't you want a family someday? And I'd just shrug. Maybe, eventually, way down the road. When I've achieved what I want to achieve, he'd keep pushing, though not in an aggressive way, more in that overly nice, persistent way. He'd bring up his friends who were having kids, how happy they seemed. And I'd just roll my eyes internally. Happiness, or just really tired and broke. Between us, I thought he was being so soft. Really, that's your big dream? To change diapers and deal with screaming kids? I'd joke about it. Oh, you just want to be a full-time babysitter? Huh. And he'd just force a smile. I wasn't trying to be mean, just realistic. We got a place together eventually. It made sense financially. Splitting the rent and bills. He was pretty good about covering most of the shared expenses, even though I had my own money. I mean, I worked hard for my money, and I had plans for it. So, yeah. He paid more, but it wasn't like I was just sitting around. I contributed in other ways, like making sure the place looked good, and if he ever asked about my contribution to the rent, I just remind him of all the expensive clothes I had to buy for work, or how much I spent on getting my hair done so I could look presentable. He'd usually back down. He was always like that. He started doing most of the housework too. Cooking, cleaning, laundry. I was always so busy with my job, always exhausted when I got home, and he didn't seem to mind. He was like a total neat freak anyway, so it worked out. Sometimes I'd tease him, "You're such a homemaker, Mark," and he'd just laugh. A little uncomfortably. He was definitely too nice, always avoiding conflict. He never really spoke up about anything that bothered him, just let things fester. One time, he wanted to go to some art class or something. He was really excited about it. And I was like, seriously, art class? Who has time for that? I told him he should just focus on his job. Maybe try to get a promotion instead of wasting time on hobbies. I probably should have seen this coming. He just dropped it. Didn't even argue. He'd just shut down whenever I didn't agree with him, which was easier than arguing. I guess it was like he was just accepting everything I said, like he had no real opinions of his own. It was kind of annoying, actually. We'd have friends over, and I'd be all supportive and sweet in front of them. Oh, Mark's so great. He really helps me out so much. And he'd beam, but then when we were alone, I'd be critical. You really shouldn't have said that about my boss. Or why did you wear that shirt? It makes you look like a dork. He'd just take it. It was so easy to pick on him because he never fought back. Then came the baby talk. Again. But this time it was different. He said he really wanted to start a family, and that he was ready. And I was like, whoa, hold on a second. We haven't even discussed this properly. He was so persistent. He even started showing me pictures of babies and talking about baby names. It was totally stressing me out. I was like, are you serious? My career's just taking off. I can't just drop everything for a baby. He kept pressing, and honestly, I just got tired of fighting it. He was so set on it, and I figured, okay, if he wants a baby so badly, he can deal with it. I mean, I'd still be working. Obviously, he could be the main caregiver. I probably shouldn't have just gone along with it. But at the moment, it felt easier than another argument. So, yeah, we decided to have a baby. I got pregnant, and it was rough. The morning sickness, the tiredness, everything. And Mark was, like, overly excited. He was reading all these books, talking about prenatal classes. I was just trying to get through the day at work. He tried to get me to go to some birthing class, and I just laughed. Honey, I've got deadlines. You go. Tell me all about it. He went to all the appointments. 2. Honestly, it was a relief not to have to deal with all that. He was doing all the emotional heavy lifting. When our daughter, Lily, was born, it was an experience. She was tiny and loud. Mark was immediately obsessed. He was holding her all the time, singing to her, changing diapers. I mean, I loved her. Of course, she was my baby. But I was exhausted, and work was calling. So I went back to my job pretty quickly. Mark took paternity leave, and then just kept staying home with her. He said he wanted to be a full-time dad. I called him soft for it. Remember, like, what kind of man gives up his career to be a stay-at-home parent? It just seems so weak, but he was so happy doing it. And honestly, it was convenient for me. I didn't have to worry about childcare. He handled everything. He was a natural at it. He'd send me pictures and videos of Lily all day. Playing, learning new things. I'd just glance at them between meetings. I was focused. He'd call me, wanting to talk about her milestones. And I'd just be like, that's great, Mark. But I'm really busy right now. I mean, I was working, providing for the family, right? He was home playing with toys. Things got a little tense sometimes. He'd complain that I wasn't spending enough time with Lily. She misses you, Jessica, he'd say, and I'd get defensive. I'm working my butt off to make sure we have a good life. What do you want me to do? Quit my job and join the Mommy and Me Club. He'd always back down then. He always did. He was so easy to shut down. He started getting a little mopey, said he felt isolated, like he was losing himself. I told him he should be grateful. He got to spend all day with our amazing daughter while I was stuck in a boring office. What was there to complain about? I guess he wanted more from me, but I just didn't have it to give. My job, my friends, my life. It was all about me, always had been. One day, I found him looking through job postings. I was like, what are you doing? I thought you loved being a full-time dad. He said he just needed something part-time, something to keep his brain active. I told him, don't be silly. Who's going to watch Lily? You're doing a great job at home. I didn't want to deal with finding a nanny or daycare. It was a hassle I didn't need. He reluctantly closed his laptop. Then the arguments started getting worse. He'd bring up old stuff, like how I never helped with the housework or how I always made him feel small, and I'd just flip it around. Oh, so now I'm the bad guy. After everything I do for this family, I'd even use my personal trauma from years ago to shut down the conversation. Like, you have no idea what I've been through. Mark, don't you dare criticize me. It always worked. He'd get quiet. He'd get this defeated look, like he was just tired of it all. He was so burnt out. Used to try, but gave up. He started talking about therapy. I think we need to talk to someone, Jessica. And I just scoffed. Therapy. What are you, being dramatic? There's nothing wrong with us. Just because you're bored being home all day doesn't mean we need a shrink. I invalidated his feelings all the time. You're being dramatic? Or it's not that serious. He'd just stare at me, like I was speaking a foreign language. Then came the text messages. I was looking for something on his phone. Just scrolling through, being nosy. And I saw these messages from some woman, nothing explicit, but really friendly, asking him how his day was, talking about books he liked, stuff like that. My blood ran, well, not cold, but I was definitely annoyed. Who is this? I demanded. He said it was just a friend from an online parenting forum. I didn't buy it. I was so mad. And the hypocrisy, I had my own secrets, my own inappropriate boundaries with people, but he wasn't allowed to have friends outside of me. Double standards. Much, between us. I mentally labeled her a total bitch. He tried to explain, but I wasn't listening. I threw a fit. I told him he was betraying me, that he was probably cheating. He denied it. Of course, but I kept digging. I even threatened to break up with him. If you can't be trustworthy, then what's the point of this relationship? I used that as leverage, like I always did. He eventually deleted the messages, but I kept bringing it up, scorekeeping every single one of his mistakes. Things were really bad. We were barely speaking. He was so checked out, emotionally distant, and I was just annoyed. What was his problem? He had everything. A beautiful daughter, a roof over his head, me. Then one day, he just changed. He wasn't moping anymore. He was quiet, but there was a new kind of quiet, a strong quiet. He started setting boundaries. Jessica, I need you to listen to me for a second. Me. Listen to him. Who did he think he was? He told me he was tired of feeling like he wasn't enough, that he was tired of my criticisms, and I just stared at him. This wasn't the Mark I knew. He had that Mr. Growth mindset vibe, like he'd been to therapy or something. It was unsettling. He said he wanted a divorce, just like that. Out of nowhere. I laughed in his face. Are you serious? You're going to leave me. And Lily. For what? Because I called you soft. Because I expect you to contribute. I was trying to gaslight him. Make him question his own perceptions. Make him feel crazy. But it wasn't working anymore. He just calmly said, I deserve to be happy. Jessica. And so does Lily. This isn't healthy for either of us. I tried everything. I cried. I begged. I even promised to change, even though I had no intention of following through. I used weaponized vulnerability, bringing up my past again. How fragile I was. I told him he was being selfish. I told him he was ruining our family, but he wouldn't budge. He was completely resolute. He was like the burnt-out guy, emotionally numb and just done. And then, boom, he was gone. He didn't pack a suitcase or go to his brother's. He just left, took Lily, and went to his sister's house in Chicago. He filed for divorce. And then the legal stuff started. And that's when everything went sideways for me. My career, which I was so proud of, started to crumble. I was so distracted, so bitter. I couldn't focus. My performance dipped. My boss, who used to sing my praises, started giving me the cold shoulder. I started missing deadlines, making mistakes. I tried to blame it on the stress of the divorce. But everyone could see I was just off. My colleagues, who used to be so friendly, started avoiding me. I'd hear whispers in the office. People were talking about me, about how I treated Mark, about how I was always so self-centered. My reputation was completely destroyed. It wasn't just about my work. It was about me as a person. Nobody wanted to be around me. It was like my manipulative behavior had been publicly exposed. And everyone knew. The legal fees started piling up. It turns out, being a full-time dad and taking care of a child counts for a lot in court. Mark had kept meticulous records of every bill he paid, every expense he covered, every time I refused to contribute. He had also documented my emotional manipulation, my dismissive behavior, everything. His lawyer, a sharp woman, presented a picture of me that was utterly devastating. I thought I was so smart, keeping my money separate, letting him cover everything. But it backfired spectacularly. The court sided with him, full custody, primary residence with him. I was ordered to pay significant child support and alimony. Me, the one who was supposed to be the successful career woman. I had to sell my car, get a smaller apartment. My financial situation was completely upside down. He, the soft guy who wanted a family, was now the one who was stable, providing a loving home for our daughter. And Lily, she wouldn't even FaceTime me. Mark would call, put her on the phone, and she'd just look at the screen with this blank stare, then hand the phone back to him. Mommy, can I talk to Daddy? She'd say, my own kid. It was like she didn't even know me, or worse, she didn't want to. That was the ultimate isolation. I achieved my selfish goal of prioritizing myself, only to discover I was completely alone. The worst part is, I don't regret my decisions. I regret how things turned out. I regret that he got to be the hero, the good guy in all of this. I regret that my career imploded. I regret that I'm stuck paying him, and that I lost my comfortable life. But I still don't think I did anything wrong. He was too sensitive. He should have been stronger. He should have just dealt with it. It's all his fault. Really, if he hadn't been so obsessed with having a family, none of this would have happened. If he had just, kept his mouth shut and let me do my thing, we'd still be together, and I'd still be living my best life. Now, I'm bitter and spiteful. I don't care about him, or that woman he's probably with now, or any of those people who judge me. I still rationalize everything I did. I was just focused on my goals. That's what successful people do. And if anyone else thinks otherwise, they just don't get it. It's not my fault. It's everyone else's.